How's this?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cool beans.
All right, buddy. Now you guys are all set up. You got the mic. I mean, you're professional podcasters.
We try it.
Yeah, I like it.
Really cool.
Now I love listening to the show, dude. I love listening to the show just because not just because I know you guys, but you guys are interesting and you're funny, and so I got to try to keep up. I have to try to, I gotta bring some game today, right?
I'm Chris Bustos. I'm from the Good Vibes podcast, and I'm so lucky to have the opportunity to be here with Chris Barton. We've gone to school together in the past. We were 13-year graduates, so we were together from kindergarten all the way through. Man, we made it, and look at you, man. What a handsome son of a bitch you are. That is so awesome because, like, for somebody like me and like a handful of others, there's a handful of others that made it all the way through with us as well. But man, what a perspective of your story arc, if you will, man. It's amazing. Yeah. Look at you,
dude.
Man.
We are OG Allen. You know that? People throw around OG this, OG that. Well, let me tell you something. If you go back to 1986 and Allen, right? That's OG, dude.
That is OG.
For sure. What is the most? Because I do this all the time with people that went to Allen. What's the most OG Allen reference, right?
Yeah, man. One that's, and there's probably definitely older examples, but for me, just with like growing up and like, running around town on the bikes and stuff, like Pride, that little corner store Pride, man, that's like the spot, right? Like I remember playing like Mortal Kombat there and hanging out. It was like, especially for like, people are our age group, Seinfeld, I think resonates with a lot of us in our age group. And, like sitting at that was like our Seinfeld, like little diner, you know what I mean? We'd sit there and have our sodas, eat some chips, play some video games and chat, man. And it was awesome. Dude, what is it for you?
It's for me. That's a good one. Pride. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Is right across the street. Do you remember Curtis Mathis?
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's okay. Now listen, it's just like a Blockbuster, just not as flashy, just not as upscale.
Oh yeah, man. Actually, that came to mind recently because I saw this post of a movie that I remember way back then trying to rent. It was called Red Scorpion, and it had Dolph Lundgren in it, and it was NC-17, and it was at Curtis Mathis, and I was just like, I think it might even had. I mean, I don't remember. My recall is pretty vast, but it didn't go that far. I don't even remember. Yeah. Maybe they even had one of those special sections in the back, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Dude, that's OG Allen video rental. There was two Curtis Mathis and Allen and only one Blockbuster. So they had they had the market. And now you talk to somebody about a Curtis Mathis and they're like, what? That's they make TVs now. They got out of the video rental business and now they make TVs.
I think they did back then even. Like I think we had one of those giant, one of those cabinet televisions that are kind of made out of wood, and it's like, oof. Yep. It's crazy. But man, so catch us up, man. Like, where are you at? What are you doing? What are you doing these days?
So after Allen, I moved away to Denton to go to school.
Yes.
So
North Texas, right?
That's like the furthest I got.
That's right. And we're continuing Allen High School's education. Like you and another alum of our alumni continued their Allen education over there at North Texas, man. That's awesome.
You know what? So I remember when the first night I moved into the dorm at UNT, man, like I didn't know anybody. But then if you see one face that is familiar, right, from Allen, it doesn't matter how close you were as friends. You're just like, bam.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna be best friends now because I know you and I don't know anybody else. And so it was awesome. Like I made friends with people that maybe I only knew in passing in high school, but then I got to know them really well. So that was really cool. And then like a good example is Chrissy Troya.
Oh yeah.
Right. She went to, we never talked in high school. Mm-hmm. And then freshman year, she was just like, we just hung out all the time. I was like, well, this is really cool. Like, I kind of wish we had like, been hanging out in high school.
Of course, in high school and even before that, there's all these, these tropes, cliques, those types of things, man. And, like I said, we've been to school for a long time together. Part of your story arc is a kid that had a lot of trouble growing up. And one thing that I could say is that it never seemed to get you down. And I feel like, man, there's so many kids out there that struggle. What is for somebody that went through it and then got through on the other side of it and are doing wonderful. Like, what is something that helped you kind of get through all that? And is it just something that was, you just like, it didn't even phase you? Like you were just going along your business, just doing you, man. And I think that maybe is part of it too.
Yeah. I've always been a little different. And I knew that about myself. And I've had friends, people I knew that were like, man, they couldn't get it. I don't know. But I think that
you were ahead of your time, bro. You were literally ahead of myself.
I'll admit it. I've been a little weird. And I just, now as I get older, I think the weirdness and the quirkiness works to my benefit.
That's what I'm saying, man. You were ahead of your time. We just we were just dumb kids and we just didn't get it, man. But I remember like way back in kindergarten, you were popping zingers, bro. Zingers. And I think it was just like, you enjoy like putting somebody on the spot, and then I think it made them feel uncomfortable. But like now as an adult, you've had experiences, you can kind of deal with stuff like that. Now I think people get that and actually enjoy that kind of thing. And so, but from hindsight, dude, zingers since kindergarten, bro.
Dude, so here's the thing. So you're spot on. Like, and even now as a dad, and I've got 2 daughters.
Yeah.
I encourage them to be different and to be a little weird.
Yeah.
And even now, I can see kids in general. They like to. I don't know. I think kids, they want to fit in.
Yeah.
Right. You don't want to stick out. You don't want to be different because then you get attention. Right. I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, get the attention, right? Be the one that gets noticed. And so that's why, I don't know. It worked out well for me. In fact, so while I was in school, while I was going to college, I got a job at a radio station, Mix 102.9. Now they're not.
No way, really? I did not know this.
Yeah. So I was looking for a conduit from my weirdness, from my uniqueness. And so one day I heard on the radio, they're looking for interns and they want to do had an intern on their morning radio show. So I just, I emailed them. They emailed me right back and they're like, yeah, come on for an interview. And so I went in and I sat down with the show host and the producer.
Nice.
And the guy hosting it named Jeff Elliott. It was the Jeff and Anna morning show on Mix 102.9, and the producer, a guy named Cappy. So they sit me down, like a little bit of an interview. They were going to hire me anyway.
They're just going to put you through the ringer.
They just want to put me through the ringer. But they asked me, they said, listen, will you do weird stuff? Like, we're looking for somebody, like, we're not going to pay you anything. We want you to come in every day, 4:00 in the morning to our radio show. And we just want you to do weird, stupid stuff. And I was just like,
check. Done.
This is like man up from heaven for me. I mean, hell yeah. And they said, do you have like any limits, like anything you won't do? No, man, I'll do anything.
Right.
So my first job was to put on, you remember the Walmart garden center vest, like the green vest that says Better Homes and Garden. So I had to walk around this corporate office where all the Clear Channel radio stations are located, just wearing that and underwear.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you something. Underneath this is a bearskin rug. Okay. And so everybody, so here I am with my chest hair like puffing out of this like vest. And so that's when I got the name Chewbacca. And so they called me Chewy. And so I was on the show for 2 years.
Wow, man.
And they called me Chewy. And then I even did some like little bit of DJing overnight, when people are either like drunk or getting up early to go to work. So anyway, so that was fun, man. And I did like the stupidest stuff and my professors listened. And so then I would do stupid stuff in the morning, like dress up like a Christmas tree and go around and hug people or like, when American Idol was first a thing, I would go to restaurants and I would be on air while I'm doing it, sitting down in the booth, got my headset on, right, and I'm recording it. And so then whenever the producers would tell me, I would stand up on the table and start screaming and singing like a virgin. And I would do that until I got kicked out. So I would say, yeah, like a virgin. And then I would be like, can you believe they kicked me off American Idol? Blah, blah, blah. And then, somebody calls the police and they arrest me and it's hilarious. And then I would just go across the street and do it again. And then I would go to my classes at the end of the day and my professors are listening to me and they're loving it. And they're like, oh my God, I heard you this morning. And
that's awesome.
I'm telling you, dude, that's when the weirdness, I seriously think that got me through college. I mean, I don't know how I could have. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that was good times.
Absolutely, man. And we had the pleasure actually of having a lot of really fun times together. I remember in theater class, one time, I think you did a monologue about like your first like punk experience. And that's something that kind of has always stayed with me, man. That story resonated with me. And I thought it was very, very awesome. Is that something that is still prevalent in your life? Is that a passion of yours to this day?
Yeah, dude. Music in general, music's always been my, that's like, I don't know how do you explain it? Like, yeah, music, your life. I love it all.
Yeah.
Jazz, blues, rock, like old country. I mean, I like it all, but punk has got a special place in my heart because it's the irreverence, right?
Yeah.
It's the being irreverent. And that was, I think, the first time I listened to punk. I think the first like non-mainstream punk band that I ever listened to was like NoFX. Mm-hmm. When I say mainstream, I'm like, you got your Green Day, you got your Blink-182, you got the big guys, right? You got A-listers. But then you have like this B-list where they're like within this subculture, super popular.
Right.
But then, so anyway, NoFX, that was like the most irreverent punk that I'd ever heard. And I just love the weirdness of it. So yeah, there's a trend here. You can see that happening.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it seems to have done well for you, man. I think that's awesome. And I think that's great for everybody to kind of see that, man, and say, hey, look, like if you have a kid or if you know somebody who's having some tough times, man, if being you is hard for everybody else, man, that's on them. That's not on you. Continue on that path, and it's a path to greatness, man, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? And I'm telling you, you know how it is, especially when you're a little bit of a larger guy,
Sure, yeah.
Particularly, if you're not super athletic, being big and athletic, people love you, right?
Right, for sure.
Right? If you're a lineman, for Allen Eagles, right? Everybody loves you. Oh, I was a big guy who was just, in journalism. Like,
yes,
okay.
but you see, okay, you might not have been protecting everybody's blind side, but in the journalism realm, you were a freaking rock star, bro. Another favorite memory of mine of yours, one of the highlights, if you will, especially in this time period, talking about journalism, is exposing a story to the light of day, man. Superintendent had an issue and it was kind of trying to be buried, if you will, but you definitely brought it to light. So can you walk us through that and remind anybody who might not remember?
Oh man. Okay. So, I mean, you remember, can I say names? I don't even know.
Sure,
Can I say names?
I think so. It's like public knowledge. I mean, especially it's statute of limitations, 20 years, man. We're probably good. We're probably good.
If Barbara Irwin could, sue me for something I did 20 years ago, she probably would.
Right.
Now, okay, in high school, and this goes along with it. I mean, when you get a nugget of information, you get two choices. You can take the path of least resistance and just be like, this is none of my business. And then you can take the other path and you can say, what, people ought to know this. People ought to, this is an elected official who's representing our school district. And by the way, I'm a kid. What are they going to do?
Exactly.
Now I'm adult and they can do plenty. So, but anyway, so yeah, I would say, I'll just say this because I had the hardest time getting anybody to corroborate these stories. So basically,
especially at your age, I mean, I'm sure it was like almost impossible. They're like, get the freak out of here, kid.
a lot of the stuff I was reporting wouldn't pass journalistic muster, now, but so basically there was hearsay about things that our superintendent, Barbara Irwin, may or may not have been doing.
Right.
And I ran with it and I published, what was going on. Now I remember, Principal Duke Sparks
sure.
calls me to his office. Right. And I published all this stuff without any like pre-review or anything. Sean Reisner had my back. Okay. The whole time. That being said, he and I both got called into Duke Sparks' office one day, and I'll never forget it. And Duke tells me, he goes, you got to lay off this. You cannot do this anymore. He's definitely getting heat.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was just like, I was up against the wall. I mean, what was I going to do? So Duke was on the verge of like pulling the plug on newspaper if we didn't stop publishing stories about Barbara Irwin. So that was when the cruel realities of the world came crashing on me. But it was a fun ride while it lasted.
Absolutely, man. And that like is just awesome. It just goes to show your type of character and how you're not afraid to like I said, stand up on your own 2 feet and be who you are and be proud of that, man, and not be afraid to challenge the system, if you will.
For sure. Dude, but Chris, you're the same way, man. I mean, you were, I wasn't like I was doing this. You were always Bustos,
hey,
right?
Nobody's
man. Like Bustos. Nobody's like you. I
appreciate that, man.
One in a billion guys. I don't know. So when you reached out and you said, hey, let's do some catching up, I've been going through memory lane and just like, man, first of all, I can't believe it's been like 3 decades, right?
It's insane. Yeah. That's
2
crazy.
decades since we all graduated. I don't know.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, 2 decades.
Two.
Feels like 3.
I mean, you got 2 kids, man. I can imagine.
But, yeah, we had, do you remember we had like 9th grade math together?
Yes, I do.
Right?
I do. I remember that.
And I remember that was in my, okay. So
what would we call that phase? What would we call that phase?
That would be called, that was my commie pinko phase. Listen, if you're a young,
that's what I said ahead of your time. Literally 5 years later, everybody was wearing them on their fucking t-shirts, bro.
it was a trendsetter,
You're a trendsetter.
But honestly, like, listen, if you're a kid and you don't go through a commie phase, did you really live? If you didn't, like, anyway. Yeah. So that was fun.
And we extended that even further later on when we got to work together on An Hour in the Lounge, our skit comedy show.
Yeah.
Back at it again, man, as a Rusky. Kind of like a Yakov Smirnoff kind of take, man. Oh, and it was, I think it was actually even better than Yakov. I think I shared with you a little post of his from his actual act. And I was just like, holy crap, like yours was actually better than the actual act.
Dude, that's a huge compliment because, Yakov, I mean, he's still working.
He is.
Right?
He's
still making money today.
Crazy.
So living the Russian dream. And now, but listen, now you have like, now you have like Borat. I can't compete with that. Right. That's on a whole nother level, right?
Yes.
Like that takes Yakov Smirnoff, whatever I was doing, and then just launches it into the atmosphere. So, right. That's the new, former Russian, Soviet
right.
comedy. That's the pinnacle right there.
For sure, man.
So,
well, you did a heck of a job, man. And just, again, like the talents, but we also had a class. I don't know if you were in the class with me or if I just reached out and had you help out just because, again, you're so talented. But we had a film as a reflection of society, I think was the name of the class. And it was like a high school film class. And we actually got to do a little project together where it was like, we went to the rec center in Allen and used a racquetball court and made it like a little insane asylum, if you will, padded room. And we did some scenes with Jim Perrick and we did some scenes with you. And like, I think it was like we were running out of room in the old high school. Everything was just set up perfectly. Like sets were everywhere, right? This one was inside the high school. It was like a makeshift classroom that they had in the freaking hallway because we were just running out of so much space. And then it just looked like one of those stereotypical, like, you know, group session kind of environments. And so we started doing one-on-one camera interviews, like of patients, if you will. And we slapped it all together in camera editing, no actual real editing, just in camera stuff. And it ended up being pretty amazing. Your performance again, right there. I think you played it like a writer, a tortured writer. And like, it was all stuff that you came up with just like on the spot. So just pretty, I wish we had this footage in hand, man, because it's special. And I think that if we put it out there now, I think people would have a better appreciation for it. I know our teacher was definitely impressed for sure. It was just really special. It was awesome.
You want to know something, Bustos? Literally, I had not thought about that since then until you just said that. And it all came flooding back to me because I remember the racquetball court. And you know that racquetball court, it echoes, right?
Oh, it's so loud.
So whenever we were doing our insane asylum, like
you're laughing,
you're doing this, like, even if you're just, then it just sounds maniacal, right? It just everything sounds crazier in a racquetball court. So that was that was really good. I love that film class.
Yeah, it was a great class.
Yeah, to this day, like I'll watch. Totally. That was it's funny how some classes you get the most use out of it, right? But you don't realize it until maybe a decade later, and then you realize, man, I'm really glad I took that class because that really answered a lot of questions.
Absolutely. So what are you watching these days? What are you listening to these days? Catch us up on the entertainment value of Chris Barton.
Yeah. So first of all, when this pandemic is over, if there's an end of the world movie and it doesn't feature people sitting on their couch and underwear binge watching The Office or Friends, I'm not going to believe it. Okay. This is an unrealistic end of the world movie because you know what I mean? Like there's no zombies, right? It's just people sitting at home watching TV, waiting for this thing to pass.
Absolutely.
Dude.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say the closest thing, I guess, would be the Mark Wahlberg movie where they're running around from nothing, and like, you know what I mean? Like having to shut the doors. All the people are going crazy, killing themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it's just like,
really? What is it? I've never heard of this.
You never seen this? It's M. Night movie.
No.
It's M. Night movie with Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel.
Oh,
it's very weird. You should watch it.
It's an M. Night movie, so that's all you had to say. It's this M. Oh, okay, got it. What's your favorite M. Night movie?
My favorite M. Night movie is probably what's the one about the woods. I can't remember the name of it right now. Just
I know you're talking about
The Village. Yeah, probably The Village.
Yeah.
Or Unbreakable. That whole series I thought was really cool. Yeah. I think that still holds up. I know that people give he's one of those polarizing favorite directors, but I think that work still holds up, and I love the finishing little trilogy there. Yeah,
Signs. I saw Signs in the movie theater, and it freaked me out. You start seeing like the little like aliens running around, like the found footage element.
Oh yeah,
was just like, it was so creepy.
It was a great blend of that kind of thing, and then like Hitchcockian like kind of fear. Yeah, beautiful put together scenes and stuff.
Oh man, that guy's so underrated. Some people say over. I say under. Right. You know what? That's what being weird's all about. You got to take the contrarian to everything.
Exactly.
So, okay, what am I watching? You know what I'm doing now? I missed so many TV shows that were like a hit. And part of the reason why I didn't watch them is because everybody loved them. So, for example, Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Everybody told me how good Breaking Bad was. So I'm over here going, not that great. So I'm like, I got better things to watch. Like, I don't know, something dumb. Right. But secretly like in my
CSI.
Head, I'm like, yeah. You want to talk about real hard hitting? It's CSI Muncie, Indiana. No, that's a good show. I don't know. So anyway, but now I'm catching up and watching all the shows that I was too cool to watch when they came out. So I watched all the Breaking Bads.
Yes.
Last summer. Watched all the Better Call Sauls. Caught up.
Okay. I've not done that. I need to do that. Did you like it?
I like Better Call Saul more than I like Breaking Bad.
Cool. I'm definitely gonna
just
check
because it's got like the law thing, right? And I'm not really into like law shows. Like I would watch Law and Order just for the order. The law was just like, it was an appetizer. I didn't particularly like it, but I was really there for the order. So anyway, but with Better Call Saul, it's like it's legal that I get. That I understand. I don't feel like I have to have a degree to get it. So anyway, but yeah, man, what are you watching these days?
Man, we try to stay, as much as there's so much content out there to watch. So we try to cover as much as possible, and we kind of like break it up between us so we could all kind of talk about it. And then, based on those recommendations, I kind of pick and choose what I watch. But the last thing I kind of got into was the Hillside with it was like a crime documentary on Netflix. It was pretty crazy. It was about Robert Ramirez. Yeah. Robert Ramirez, the Hillside Strangler. So that was pretty intense stuff. But I don't know. It's weird stuff, but I like something about that whole thing interests me. Just like it's more about the investigating of it and like the people that dedicate their lives to trying to capture these guys. I think that's what I find more appealing. And then just like it's so weird that these people end up doing these types of things, and I find that kind of interesting as well. So I love crime drama stuff, but I kind of get into that. And then the King of Staten Island is also something I got into recently.
That's good. How good is that? I have a feeling that like that's kind of like Pete Davidson is made for that role, and absolutely. He deserves an Oscar. But if he only ever wins one Oscar, it'd just be that. Like it would
exactly.
What do you think?
I want to see what he does next. What's like? I think he's going a great direction. And it'll be interesting, man. If he could see how I think he's gonna be a great character actor, but we'll see what happens and where he goes with it. But he's a funny ass dude, that's for sure.
Oh, dude, I don't know if it's just me, but he's gotten funnier after his breakup with Ariana Grande.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like,
did you see his stand-up? He did a little special, like kind of right after that. I think you can catch it on Netflix. But he talks a lot about that situation, and it's just funny, man. It's like I can't imagine having being in that environment and having a relationship and having to deal with like what that is like. Cause I was, I have a friend who's an actor doing these really cool, especially right now, cause they can't get out and do those types of things. He's putting out content like, some of his auditions and just working on his craft. And he did a reading monologue from Forrest Gump, and it was very emotional and very real. And I'm just like, I'm watching this, and I asked my girlfriend, I'm like, could you ever trust an actor? Could you trust an actor? This is so fucking real. How do you trust emotions from an actor that can do that, like on a dime, on a whim? I know it's not like that. I know it takes a lot to be able to put that out, but to be able to do that and to conjure those real emotions up, I think is what fascinates me about the whole process of filmmaking. And that really drives my fanhood of it because of those performances from these actors. And I think it's just really amazing stuff.
I have a huge respect for acting in general, because to your point, you got to put yourself in this encompass this other body, right? And I haven't known really a lot of actors, but then when I met my wife, her dad was a soap opera actor.
Oh, nice.
Actually, he did a lot of acting in movies, but his big roles, I think he was on a CBS primetime soap opera called Capital. And it was at the same time that like Dynasty was on and Dallas was on, right? So it was back when they were doing primetime soap operas.
Nice.
So CBS had a show called Capital, and he was on it. And so this was in the 80s. And he's since retired from acting, but he talks about it. And I feel like, because I've heard all these stories, and he's got all these like old Hollywood stories, about like the time he went to David Hasselhoff's wedding, and all these like
awesome.
And we'll be watching a movie, and he'll talk about somebody that's in a movie that he was in with them and what they were doing. And then he has like a story with Robert Redford, and he's got all these like great stories. And so then I'm just like, wow, I feel like, like maybe I wish I had been an actor.
Yeah,
like,
no,
it sounds cool.
Seriously.
It sounds tough, but the life sounds awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have some envy there. I'd love to try to do those types of things and see if I can,
you know what,
conjure up those emotions and do those things.
Let me tell you something. I was thinking about this. There are people that go undiscovered.
Right? And we can be character actors. Let's do it, bro. Let's start sending our audition tapes out.
Some people get famous at like 50.
Yeah.
Right?
We could be the next Samuel L. Jacksons. We could do it together.
Dude, we could do it.
We could do it together, like Stuck on You. We'll just get a big giant sweater we'll just be one role. We'll play the same role. Daytime TV. Let's go.
Let's do it, man. Let's be famous, Chris.
I'm down. We'll work on that.
All right.
Well, buddy, thank you for spending some time with us, man. We'll have to do it again. These are quick little bites, man, and there's so much else to get into. But thank you so much for hanging out with us, man, here on Remember When.
Anytime. I got more stories to share. You want to hear them sometime? Let's do it.
Heck yeah. We'd love to have you even sit in on the actual panel. You could be a part of the show, bro. I'm down.
Okay, I wanted to be famous, but I wasn't ready for it right now. This is all happening so fast. I've got to quit my job. There's so much to do. No, man, that'd be awesome, dude. I will have made it. I will have arrived.